This is the tutorial for exercise 29A from your beginning AutoCAD workbook. Okay, so the instructions for this exercise 29A says to open your MyDesmo setup file, which I've already done, and I've resaved it as exercise 29A. Then I went into step 2 and went to my model tab. Step 3 was to draw the object shown approximately. Don't add the dimensions. Put everything on your symbol layer. So after those were all drawn, then we were supposed to create blocks from them. So you would have 7 different blocks, so hub, switch, router, server, IBM, printer, and Mac. So I've already created all my blocks except for the last one, Mac. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to create block and Mac. I want to pick my base point on the screen and just make life a little bit easier. I'm going to pick my midpoint, select objects, and make sure you have delete selected. Okay, so that took my draw and put it in a little block and erased it off my screen. Okay, so now we're ready to go on to the next page to step 2. And it wants us to save this, 29A. And it says to go to the A size tab. I don't have my title block all set up in this one. Confirm that model tab is shown, it says. Okay, so right now I'm on Paperspace. So it says, draw the network diagram approximately as shown within model space. Okay, so first thing I'm going to insert my blocks. I'm just going to insert all of them. What do I still need? That one is here. Lock. My server. And of course, I didn't pay attention to which one of my blocks I inserted. So that was IBM. I double clicked on it to see. So I have to insert the Mac one. Okay, so now I'm just going to go through the process and set up the drawing network like the one shown in your workbook. So I'm just going to get that started. And I'm going to pause it while I start moving these around, copying things, and then you can come back to it. Okay, so I have all of my blocks inserted, and I'm going to switch to my, it doesn't matter, it doesn't say so, but actually I'm just going to stay on the symbol layer to connect the wiring to them. So it looks like we have something like this. And again, these were all just eyeballed, so it might not be that straight. You can go in and clean them up if you want to. So I'm just going to do this process of going in and putting in all of my wiring lines. So I'm going to pause it again while I do that. Okay, so I have all of the network blocks and the cables set up. I see my server in the middle is connected a little bit differently, but all the lines are there, so it's okay. The last thing I'm going to do as far as the drawing part is to put in our revision cloud. That's what's going to hold our internet. And I'm just trying to remember where our rev cloud went to. Oh, it's under annotate. Vision cloud. And I'm going to make it, doesn't really have a shape given on it, so I'm going to start with something like that. Actually, no, let me go back into that. Vision cloud, arc length, 0.375. And I'll start it there. Yeah, that's better. Right, that's close enough for it. Okay, and then it says to add the labels using text classic and text height of 0.125. So we have text classic, there's single line. I'm going to do justify for these, and I'm going to do middle center. Let's start the first one there, and it says our text height is 0.125. Rotation is 0. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing and put on the labels for all the rest of the block components. Okay, so I just have one left here, the network printer. Okay, and that takes care of all of my labeling. All that labeling though should be on my text layer. So your blocks and your cables can be on the symbols layer, but everything else, all the other text, should be on the text layer. Okay, so now let's pop over into our A-size tab. We're going to go to Viewport, MV for Make View. And I'm going to put my viewport right from down in this corner, right up to the other corner, just keeping it inside of my border. Right, and double click inside of there and just roll a mouse wheel to move it around. And it doesn't tell us that it has to be any specific scale, so I have it where I want it. I'm just going to lock that in place, come back out into my paper, and it says edit the title block. I just have an old title block in here, not the proper one from the MyDesmo setup file, but I'm going to type in what they wanted here. So for scale, it should have said none. Right, and I've saved mine as I've gotten along. Now that I'm at the end, I'm going to save again. All right. So for this one, we want to complete the very last step though. We want to plot this. So we have our A size selected. We're in our paper space. So we're going to go into plot. And you're going to use the big plotter that's out in the hallway. So DJT 520. and we're going to plot it bigger than what it is. So we're going to plot it on a C size sheet. So make sure your name is in your title block on your drawing. And we're going to plot the layout, so everything that's on this A size page. And we're just going to pick our AutoCAD pen styles, landscape. Let's do a preview and see what we get. So that is not what we want. So what we are going to do is, instead of doing layout, let's do window. And go from the outside of your border to the other side. Hit fit to paper and center the plot. Landscape. Now let's do a preview. Okay, and yours will have your good border in it with your name in it. So after you've done your preview, you can right click and hit plot. Okay, I'm not going to hit plot just because I don't want to send this one, so I'm going to hit exit, but you want to plot. Right, and save that, and you're going to send your DWG file to the Dropbox for exercise 29A.